When fourth standard classes started, I had read all this. Of course, I had not understood everything. So what I will do is I will have already marked the things that I did not understand. So from day one, I will be asking the teacher how to fill the blanks that I could not fill. So this way, Alhamdulillah, I was ahead. Now, third to sixth standard, I was first in class. Now, metric is something else. In those days, we did not have boards, Larkana board, Sakar board, or whatever we had. In those days, we had, matriculation examination was conducted by Sindh University. Alhamdulillah, I was able to secure first position in whole of Sindh. So it is possible. Now I had one more trick. How did I progress from being first in my section in government high school, Larkana class, to being first in whole of Sindh? Of course, studying and preparing was a big part of it. The second part was that I always solved the examination papers from previous years. Now, I was appearing in metric in 1958. I obtained examination paper for all the subjects. There were 11 subjects. So in other words, metric exam had 11 examinations, total marks of 1100. I got examinations papers for 1957, 56, 55, 54, all the way back to 1935. So I had covered all those. So these are two of the tricks of the trade. And because of that, because I studied regularly, I did not have to, when my exam was next day, I did not have to study until morning to go there. I just tried to get a good sleep before the examination. So my dear young friends, boys and girls, think ahead. Get ready for your ultimate examination. It may be metric, it may be college graduation, it may be CSP examination. Start preparing for that today. I think competence in English conversation is a very important part of it. But as you will learn later, like suppose at some stage you want to go to study in United States, there are some entry examinations there. To get admission in undergraduate classes in universities there are two examinations that you must pass before they will give you admission there. One is called TOEFL. TOEFL is English competency. They test you how much English you know. Then there is another examination which is called SAT. SAT is basically a general knowledge examination. General knowledge in English language, in history, in mathematics, to see whether you will be able to comprehend what will be taught in college in the United States. Start thinking of that. Now, because I did well in matric examination, when I proposed to my father that I wanted to go to college in United States after inter science, my father was kind enough and willing to borrow money from a bank to send me for college studies in USA. One of the main things, once I got there, you see there are many steps. I was in United States for 7 years before I could come back. I arrived in United States on December 31, 1960. 60. Anybody was born in 1960?
I was born 1 month before. 1 month before.
So,
August 18th.
even fathers of some of you were not born probably at that time. Now here I was, a Sindhi student from Larkana, and just inter-pass. Now, what kind of English did I have? Now, in those days, telephone was very expensive. Of course, there was no email because computer was not invented. So the only communication I had was through a letter to my parents and brothers and sisters. So it was not only the cost, but it was also the loneliness. It was limited ability to communicate with others. Now, Alhamdulillah, God blessed me in another way. Because in those days, 20,000 rupees was a very big amount. Dollar bought 4 rupees 77 paisas in those days. And my father had borrowed 20,000 from them. Now that was a big pressure on my head because I had younger brothers, 7 brothers and 1 sister. They had to be educated. So I did not want the burden of taking away all those resources. So I really tried hard to get a scholarship. And Alhamdulillah, I was able to get a scholarship to tuition free to do my study. So, dear friends, you all have, so what I had to do, I got a scholarship, then I applied for jobs so that I could study. And I washed dishes in a restaurant for 7 years to earn some income while I was studying. I imagine it's, these classes are over.
Time is over, other students are coming.
Okay.
Because their
So,
class was terminated at 5 and their parents were waiting because they were not informed previously.
Sure. So the question is, in United States, there is no shame in doing part-time work. There is no shame in washing dishes. So learn from today that there is no shame in labor. Learn to do your own things. Learn to cook, because there was no one there who will cook Pakistani food for me. Only I had to learn not only to boil rice, boil an egg, but to make chicken curry, or to cook saag, or do all those things myself. So, if you want to succeed overseas and do real things in life, you have to be self-reliant. So when you go home today, tell your mother that you want to help her inside kitchen. Watch how she's cutting onions. Watch how she is cooking. So that if you get a chance to go for higher studies, you will know how to take care of yourself. Now here we see in Larkana that there is garbage everywhere. I mean, in United States, people have to clean their own houses. Alhamdulillah, today I have higher status than ambassador, but I have no servants, because servants are very expensive. Me, my wife, my children, they have to clean our own house. Sometimes when we have invited friends for dinner, we call some cook, but cook there charges are $250 for one day to cook food and serve and then clean up the house. $250. Now you can calculate how many thousand rupees is that. So there is no shame in labor. I have some Pakistani friends here in Pakistan who studied with me. There is one Kashmiri boy. He was a boy, now he's no longer a boy. He lives in Karachi. Those of you who know Karachi, you will know Shahrahe Iran near Clifton. It is, Bhutto Saab's old house, 70 Clifton Road, is on a side road. Now this friend, his name is Muhammad Kaleem, he lives on main Shahrahe Iran. Other day, this brother and other brother, we went to visit him because on way back from Larkana, I'm going to stay at his house. And my other brother said that his house, Kaleem's house, must be worth 2 to 3 Arab rupees, not crore, Arab rupees. Now, how did this man, who was a boy like me, how did he study in United States? We both used to wash dishes, and we used to get $1.25 per hour. One day Kaleem said, "Oh, Ali Nawaz, I have found a great job. It will pay us double, $2.50 an hour." He said, "I'm going to do it. They need one more person. Will you join me? Do you want job for $2.50? Double of what we are getting?" I said, "Of course I will. Please tell them that I'm also interested." So we got the job. Now what was the job? I was shocked when I saw what the job was. First of all, it was inside a factory. You may have seen different cheeses. In America, the most famous cheese company is called Kraft. Kraft, Kraft cheese. And our job was in factory of Kraft cheese. Now what was our job? They had gutters. Gutters which are covered by iron. We had to lift the cover, and the job was from 12 midnight to 8 o'clock in the morning. Our job was, inside the gutter, there is a staircase, so dark, job from midnight, but we had lights on our head. We had to go walk down. We had to carry a bucket. Underneath there was water was flowing of filth. you know, we had to take sample from there, put the bucket, take the sample. It was so bad smell, so many gases, that if we tried to smell it, we would have fainted and falling down inside, and we will be dead. So we are holding our breath. Go down, put the bucket, take out the bucket, walk up. We had bottles, sample bottles. Put the sample in it, put a label. Okay, what time did we take? This is at 12:30. This is at 1. This is at 1:30. So on. So that they knew. The company wanted to do some research as to what is flowing and so on. We did it for one night. We could not imagine how we could survive another night. Too many gases, very risky, slipping on an iron disc, midnight, no one else there. So we said, thank you very much, find somebody else. Now that boy who did that job, today he is living in a house which is what, 2 to 3 Arab rupees, not close. So you see, he and I were used to labor. There was no shame. There was no shame. I have no shame to tell you that I have done this type of work to get where I got. Well, after graduation in electrical engineering. Then I got the job in an international company which is still called Motorola Overseas Corporation. Then I learned something about business, and then I did MBA. Now, when I was doing MBA, one of my professors, American professors, his name was Professor Sioma Kagan. He said, Ali Nawaz, why don't you apply for a job at the World Bank? Now, have you heard of the World Bank? What is World Bank? You may know it today. I did not know what was World Bank, but I applied. They wrote me that we don't have jobs for young people like you. But they said that we have an international CSP program. They said that we don't take young people, but this CSP program, which is called Young Professional Program, you can apply for that. They said that every year we select 16 persons, 1/6. You may succeed. Alhamdulillah. While you are right now thinking about passing Pakistani CSP, I tried. A boy from Larkana, just like you. And we had no knowledge center here at that time either. So I was not prepared for knowledge center. You are fortunate to have something like that. And miracle, I was selected in 1967. So World Bank is part of United Nations. So Alhamdulillah, I had some progress. I joined in 1967. In 1980, I achieved the rank of ambassador, Alhamdulillah. And first I was sent to one of the poorest countries in the world, Somalia. But Somalia was stable that time. Right now, for many years, there is civil war. But it was stable under rule of a general. His name was General Siad Bar. Here is a Larkana boy, and nobody. Very little education. So my friends, boys and girls, it is all possible. And now talking to my young sisters, let me tell you that girls can succeed just as well as boys. Today in universities all over the world, in Pakistan, in United States, in England, there are more students who are girls than there are boys. Almost invariably, in every country, when you see who is getting first position, second position, you will find there are more girls who are achieving that. Why? Because I think girls to some extent are at home much more than boys. Chokra asama rulanda pinanda hai. Chokriyon ghat rulandiyon pinandiyon hai. They succeed more. You know, 15, 20 years ago, I was visiting Karachi. At that time, I was very interested in human rights in Pakistan. So, one of my friends was Ansar Barni. Ansar Barni is a human rights worker, leader here. Through him, I arranged to visit children and women's jail in Karachi to see what's going on inside. And when I got there, the superintendent of jail, Karachi, women and children's jail, was a Sindhi girl. She was, I just remember that her family name was Shah, and she was from Garhiyasi. And she had passed CSP civil service examination, and at that time she had level of SP, and she was superintendent of jail in Karachi. It was a big jail. So dear sisters and brothers, 20 years ago that was possible in Sindh. Since then, we are continuously making more and more progress. You all can do it. Start studying from today. Change your techniques. Instead of just doing your homework, stay ahead of your class. If you cannot cover the whole next year's books, at least stay 1 or 2 weeks, 1 or 2 months ahead of what the rest of the class is. That is a secret for obtaining position in your class, or in Sindh, or Pakistan, or at the World Bank, or United Nations, wherever you go. One final point. How to improve your English? Of course, it is good to learn English in a school and also in a knowledge center like you. But in English, where we are lacking is not in English grammar. Mostly it is a conversational English. You have to learn to speak. How are you going to learn to speak? Okay? I would say that make a determination that from now on, when you are inside this knowledge academy, you will speak to each other only in English, not in Sindhi. You will be wrong initially. You will feel very awkward. But I assure you that slowly you will gain confidence. Of course, to have a meaningful conversation in English, you must have proper knowledge also. I had found that making a habit to read English newspaper was very important. In those days, we had Dawn. That was the only English paper we had. And fortunately, my father was an educated man. He was an advocate here in Larkana. And he was the one who was the first to establish college in Larkana in 1952. There was no arts college, there was no commerce college, there was no law college. He established the first arts college, first commerce college, then with another friend, Qazi Akhtar, my father established law college also. All these were later nationalized, and actually Chanka Medical College was built on our land. Our land meaning on land of the college society, which my father had found and had purchased land under. So I only pray that may Allah bless my father and all the sawab he must be getting. That today there are huge college buildings all over Larkana. There are universities even here. He must be getting lot of sawab because what he did was sadqa jariyah. And I pray to Allah that Allah enables me to do something which will be sadqa jariyah for me. And one of the source of sawab for me can be you. Because if you, even one of you benefits 1 paisa, 1 rupee worth of knowledge from what I have told you today, then that will be sadqa jariyah for me. I will have a share in whatever good you will do. So objective is not to become CSP and Deputy Commissioner and Commissioner. That's the first step. Second step is to serve people. You know how poor people we have in Sindh. In our own families there are poor. How many people are starving? But how many people are suffering on hands of vaderas and powerful, corrupt politicians and so on. If you become SP or DIG or Deputy Commissioner or Commissioner, you have to serve these people. It is not for you to just become a big person. So, learn English, read English newspaper, practice, listen to English news on radio and TV. Many years when I was at the World Bank, which is part of United Nations, we had to speak many languages. I've gone to maybe 50 countries on business. There are countries where the president or even the ministers refuse to speak in English. There are former French colonies in Africa, for example. Countries like Guinea, Mali, Upper Volta, so on. They insist on speaking French. And so I was sent by World Bank to learn French in Paris. There is a French learning center there. It is called Alliance Française. That's it. I went there only for 1 month, but we were told that you have to speak in French only, cannot speak English or any other language. Of course, I had some lessons in Washington. World Bank had some class. So this was for polishing. And believe me when I tell you that within 1 month, I was even dreaming in French. Because all day I was speaking French to teachers and to students, which was wrong initially, but it got it. And started dreaming in French. So this is what immersion courses can do for you. So work hard, God bless you, make good name for yourselves, and make me proud. Thank you.